Welcome to Part E of our six-part series on balance of payments and exchange rate regimes. So far we have discussed the nominal exchange rate, the actual market rate at which currencies trade. But there is a much more important concept for understanding international competitiveness, the real exchange rate. The real exchange rate adjusts for differences in price levels across countries. It tells us what trade actually does, not just what the nominal numbers say. By the end of this video, you will understand why two countries can have the same nominal exchange rate movement, but completely different real outcomes. Let us begin. Section 1. The problem with nominal rates. Suppose the shekel falls from 3.5 per dollar to 3.8 per dollar, a depreciation of about 9%. Headlines call this a weaker shekel. But is Israeli industry actually more competitive abroad? It depends. If Israeli inflation was also 9% during this period, then in real terms, nothing has changed. Israeli goods cost the same in dollar terms as before. If Israeli inflation was less than 9%, Israel really did gain competitiveness. If inflation was more than 9%, Israel actually lost competitiveness despite the nominal depreciation. The nominal exchange rate by itself tells us very little. Section 2. Defining the real exchange rate. The real exchange rate is defined as E times P star divided by P, where E is the nominal exchange rate, P star is the foreign price level, and P is the domestic price level. In words, the real exchange rate is the nominal rate adjusted for the ratio of foreign prices to domestic prices. When the real rate is high, domestic goods are relatively cheap, foreigners want to buy them, and the country has a competitive advantage. When the real rate is low, domestic goods are relatively expensive, the country struggles to export. This single number captures the essence of international competitiveness. Section 3. Real depreciation. A real depreciation can happen in several ways. The nominal rate falls, making domestic goods cheaper in foreign terms. Domestic prices fall, making local goods cheaper. Foreign prices rise, making the rest of the world more expensive. Any of these moves makes the country more competitive. Real depreciation is what exporters cheer for. It widens trade surpluses. It boosts employment in tradable sectors. It is the standard prescription for an economy with high unemployment and external imbalances. Section 4. Real appreciation. The reverse. A real appreciation makes domestic goods relatively expensive. It hurts exporters. It widens trade deficits. It boosts imports. It often emerges in commodity-producing countries that experience commodity booms, the so-called Dutch disease. The discovery of natural gas in the Netherlands in the 1960s caused massive currency appreciation. Dutch manufacturing competitiveness collapsed. The pattern has been repeated in many resource-rich countries. Section 5. Purchasing power parity. A famous principle in international economics is purchasing power parity, PPP. PPP says that over the long run, real exchange rates should not deviate too much from one. Goods should cost roughly the same across countries when measured in a common currency. In practice, PPP holds only weakly. There are persistent deviations. Non-traded goods like services are more expensive in rich countries. Non-tariff barriers create wedges. Transportation costs matter. But the principle is useful as a long-run anchor. Section 6. The Big Mac Index. The Economist magazine created a fun and useful tool to test PPP, the Big Mac Index. It compares the cost of a Big Mac across countries, converted to dollars at market exchange rates. If PPP held perfectly, a Big Mac would cost the same everywhere. In practice, it does not. A Big Mac is much cheaper in Mexico or India than in Switzerland. This shows that the real exchange rate deviates significantly from PPP. But the Big Mac Index gives us a quick read on whether currencies are over or undervalued relative to a purely PPP benchmark. Section 7. Why this matters for policy. Real exchange rates drive trade balances. They drive industrial competitiveness. They drive employment in export sectors. Policymakers should care about real rates, not nominal rates. When the central bank intervenes in the FX market, it directly affects the nominal rate. But what matters for real outcomes is the real rate. If the central bank prevents nominal depreciation while domestic inflation rises, the real rate appreciates, even though the central bank thinks it is preserving competitiveness. The Bank of Israel has spent decades managing this tension. Section 8. A simple numerical example. Let us put this together. Israel's nominal rate is 3.5 per dollar. Israel's price index is 100. The U.S. price index is 100. The real exchange rate is 3.5 times 100 over 100, which equals 3.5. Now suppose Israeli inflation runs at 10%. The shekel does not depreciate. After the inflation, the real rate is 3.5 times 100 over 110, which equals 3.18. The real rate has fallen. Israeli goods have become more expensive in dollar terms by about 10%. This is real appreciation through inflation. Exporters lose competitiveness even though the nominal rate did not move. This is one of the most important dynamics in modern emerging market policy. Conclusion. We have built the real exchange rate framework. We have seen why it matters more than the nominal rate. We have walked through real depreciation and appreciation. We have introduced PPP and the Big Mac Index. And we have seen a numerical example showing how inflation can cause real appreciation even with a stable nominal rate. In Part F, we work through detailed numerical exercises on the real exchange rate. If you found this useful, please share. And subscribe to Macroeconomics with Michael for the final part of the series.